Go ahead, Stefania.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning. Can you please turn your cameras so we can see you? Carolina. Okay.
Design speaking assessment. The test of the combi recommend that teacher assesses speaking in class through individual tests. The teachers could implement the different techniques, whatever technique that the creatures they select as necessary to start the speaking assessment with a simple task. For the formal speaking assessment techniques, the most common format for assessing speaking for language examination is a speaking test or oral interview. According to the author Hans 2003, the oral exams or interviews don't need be overly long. The student needs 50 minutes to ensure that the information rather receives is reliable.
5 to 15 minutes.
Yeah. The author suggests as interviews between 5 or 10 minutes should suffice, sorry. The author proposed a framework for a speaking test that is still used today. He believed that the students perform best when they are learned through the following stage. Caro?
Now the stages are Warner level check, proof, and why I am going to talk about Warner and level check.
Pro and wind down.
Wind down. I am going to talk about Warner and level check. In the Warner is to relax the students and lower the anxiety. Anxiety. On the other hand, students are asked for personal details such as general information about the sex or their hobbies and dislikes, etc. The professors can even ask the students to spell out something or give a numerical sequence. And in this one app, FACE has a dual purpose of pulling the students and is a very basic information. In the level check is in the professors tries to determine the students' level of speaking proficiency through a series of questions or different activities to develop in classes.
You start with easy questions and then you start increasing the level of difficulty until you feel like you got the level of the kids. You don't start with tough questions or the ones that you think are the students' level, because they might cause a lot of frustration from the beginning and the student might just freeze. So you start with easy questions, relax the student, then start checking it. Well, let's try a question from this level, from the following, until you get to the student's actual proficiency level. What about probing? What is probing?
Probing, it is when the teacher tries to determine the speaking ability of the student. And another function is that is another level check, but it is for looking for it is the student has that level.
The highest is when you push the student.
Yes, and the wind down. Wind
down means to finish, to come to an end.
Yes, it's the finish of the activity of the test. And usually the teachers give the information about the where or when the student could be see the results.
And you also say something at final thought, like to calm them down, so the student walks away feeling okay, not feeling all tense. Good. Let's go to the next one. And that will be Sarah, Kimberly, and Geraldine. Guys ready? How much time do we have here? 5 minutes. Sara, Kimberly, and Geraldine.
Creo que hice la cuenta mal y creí que era otra diapositiva, la que sigue.
¿Hicieron esta?
Yes.
Así es.
Bueno, presente. Y Jason, Mariana, bueno, de todas maneras, Jason, Mariana hicieron ¿cuál? ¿La anterior o esta también?
Esta, profesor,
profe.
nosotros hicimos esta.
Entonces,
Speaking assessment.
Déjenme explicarles esta antes de llegar a la última, ¿ok? Esto es Designing and Speaking Assessment, Variation on the Framework. Students can be tested individually, in pairs, or in groups of 3. If more than one student is assessed, it is important to provide time for each individual to speak as well as opportunities for interaction. So remember, ideally you have a setting where you're assessing more than one to make sure that you have time to assess all of your students. So you create a role play for 2 or 3 students, make sure that you have a rubric that has a place for each of the students so you can mark how each of the students did in fluency, in pronunciation, in vocabulary, etc., etc. That's the recommended type of activity, in pairs or in triads, and making sure that you have a place to record the performance of each of the students individually. You can provide pictures for them to have a conversation about it, like in semaforización, or you can assign a monologue for a student to perform role plays or information gap activities where the students have to complete with a word or a phrase. Those are not very authentic. I would highly recommend role plays and using pictures to engage students in conversations. Okay? Carry on. Classroom speaking assessment techniques, Geraldine and company.
Okay, professor. So this was the documentation. It is a real life field for students in academic and business programs. Additionally, it concerned about the fluency and accuracy, as well as body language, facial expressions, contact and gestures. Okay, second one is the debate. It is speaking between 2 or more students who argue or a topic is the motion. Usually the students who argue start with 3 minutes of speech, and then the students who are in opposition can against the motion. That's
Okay, now talking about reading aloud, it works to assess pronunciation. The teacher can have a checklist of problems that students can have in their reading. An example of this is problems on stress and rhythm, intonation, vowel and consonant sounds. Retelling stories refers that students can report the content of a previous article that they have read before. And verbal essay is the one in which students have to talk for 3 to 5 minutes about a prepared topic.
Okay, and the 6th technique is extemporaneous speaking. In this, the teacher will give students a topic and they must talk around 2 or 3 minutes, but they don't have time to prepare what they are going to say.
Improvising.
Yes, and also in the text, it says that speaking nowadays plays an important role in exams such as the TOEFL, and it requires students to use more than one skill at a time. In this kind of exams, for speaking, the students listen to an audio and they have 6 questions. 2 of them are about familiar topics and The last 4 are about what they listen or what they read. And in the 7, we have a general rubric for speaking and for the teachers that prefer to have a general